House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has toured a human rights museum in Taiwan, affirming an ironclad U.S. commitment to the self-governing island. The Speaker's motorcade arrived earlier today, where the island's history of martial law is preserved. Later, the Pelosi delegation flew to South Korea, where it arrived safely. Meanwhile, in reaction to the Taiwan visit, China scheduled military exercises for tomorrow near the island's defense perimeter. And joining us now to discuss is Dustin Carmack, Chief of Staff to the former Director of National Intelligence and Research Fellow at the Heritage Foundation. Dustin, welcome. Great to be with you. As mentioned, China is conducting military drills. Taiwan says that 27 Chinese aircrafts entered its air defense zone. And this comes as the group of 7 nations are calling on China to resolve the tension around Taiwan peacefully. How do you see this playing out? And do you think that a peaceful resolution can be reached?
This doesn't surprise me at all. I think in light of what happened with the leaking of her trip and essentially the oxygen to fuel this fire of Xi and the CCP to be able to amplify this over the last few weeks, essentially, I'm not surprised by the actions that they're taking in the days ahead. I'm not condoning it by any means, but they didn't engage her aircraft upon landing, and some of the things that some people were trying to speculate about. But I do see tensions, and now in the next, starting today and going forward, to be amplified, especially with these exercises that essentially are happening around all 360 degrees around Taiwan, including through air. There's, military exercises on China's mainland and then by sea with live fire exercises.
And Dustin, what do you think our response should be, the United States?
I think the United States, should stand firm with Taiwan. And, I think this administration, they've been trying to kind of play cleanup on aisle 9 with some of their messaging because, initially there was kind of sniping coming from the White House through different elements, saying that the president wasn't happy with the speaker going on this trip. And now in the last week or so, Admiral Kirby, who works at the National Security Council now, has been, trying to really straddle that line to say that, they're supportive of the speaker's trip. It's a co-equal, member of of our government that should have, access to Taiwan. And I think the speaker had every right to go. This is not the first time, Newt Gingrich, the speaker, went in 1997, and members go all the time. So this should, this amplification of this, has been really by the behest of the CCP and Xi.
Another thing, Dustin, I want to touch on is Russia. Russia has aligned itself with Beijing and said Speaker Pelosi's trip to Taiwan is a provocation. The Kremlin also said that China has the right to protect its sovereignty. I want to get your thoughts on all that.
Well, I'm curious to Vladimir Putin's view of protecting sovereignty when he continues to invade a sovereign country in Ukraine and has done, a number of other actions over the course of his presidency and ruling Russia. So, this doesn't surprise me. They've essentially become bedfellows together, in their actions. And this goes all the way back to, the Olympics. And essentially, she's asked to Vladimir Putin to not engage with Ukraine prior to, the ending of the Olympics. So, this is, what will be interesting to see is if there's additional actions by China to coincide and help in certain areas with Russia, just as a fodder point against United States actions and against the speaker's recent trip there.
Well, we're going to leave it right there. Dustin, thank you so much for your time today and your insights. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.